All right, we at the bourbon shop, and this particular bourbon, of course, is very hard to come by here in Michigan, anyway. As a matter of fact, when you do come across this in Michigan, from what I hear, because I've never seen it in a while, that is one per customer when we do see it. So this is very sought after, and I think it's like that for a lot of places around. You may get some places, maybe like in Ohio, I think, that you might see this on the shelf more regular, but not here in Michigan. But I hear it's like that in many places. As a matter of fact, I didn't get my hands on this one. This was gifted to me by a very special young lady who has a big heart, Miss Tracy. I appreciate you. You are the VIP of this particular episode because without you, yes, right, give it up. Without you, this episode would not take place. So much love, Tracy. Appreciate it. So we're going to give this a review. It's a lot of hype behind this. So I'm going to try it. This is my first time trying it. And I'm going to share the experience with you. So, would I like it? Is it all worth the hype? Let's get into it. Now, one of the reasons why this is so sought after, number one, it is a Buffalo Trace product, and they have a very fine reputation. And also, this is the foundation of Pappy Van Winkle. This is where it begins. It's the same mash bill, so this is why it's so sought after. So normally, if you can't get Pappy, you go for the 12-year. Right? And if you can't find a 12-year, then you go for the antique. If you can't find the antique, you go for the special reserve, which is what I have. Now, years ago, this was pretty common on the shelves from what I hear. Maybe like, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You can readily find this on the shelf. But now it's got a special name behind it and a lot of hype, so it's kind of hard to get our hands on it. But the mash bill on this, let's talk about it, because this is a wheated bourbon. And if you watch my show, you know I love wheated bourbons. If you don't get into that. The mash bill is 70% corn, 16% wheat, and 14% malty barley. So nice wheated bourbon, at scram with the rye spice. So normally with a bourbon, you get a nice buttery feel, it's smooth. You get a different kind of sweetness from the regular bourbon with the rye, but less of a bite because that rye spice is not in there. But it really makes up for that with the body. Just looking at this, it has pretty nice legs. I think this is somewhere between 5 to 7 years old, 4 to 7 years old, something like that. That's what I hear. So nice color, nice legs. So let's just get right into it. Let's give it a nose. Now it's pretty much what I expected. A nice traditional, nice wheated bourbon. Quality is good. You get your normal spices that you would get from a wheated bourbon. That sweet spice is like a honey. You get some of the barrel influence, and it's kind of fruity, light fruit, not really dark. But I think it's come across maybe like a strawberry. So yeah, I would say a nice nose, not overly complicated. I'm getting about 3 notes out of this. The honey, some slight caramel, maybe 4 notes. That light fruit or that strawberry, and some nice barrel influence. So that's pretty good. Now, traditionally, regularly, if you can find it at MSRP, this should run you around 25 to 30 bucks. If you find it at a state liquor store or maybe like a Total Wine. But if you go to a traditional liquor store, they're gonna hype it up. Sometimes you find this for 3, 4, 5 times the price. So we're gonna judge it on the $25 to $30 price range, okay? And at that price range, this is pretty good. So let's go for a taste. Yeah. So, like many other nice wheated bourbons that come across with that sweetness, um, you get some of that barrel taste along with it, but it has that traditional honey taste to it, caramel. It's still coming across a little fruity, you know. Um, like now I'm getting like a cherry, not heavy cherry, but like a cherry, still that light berry fruit. It's a little different from the nose where I was getting the strawberry, but it's really a nice mouthfeel. You know, it's a wheated bourbon, so it's buttery, it's smooth, it's creamy. You get somewhat of that wheat bread taste to it. Let me go for one more sip. And it's not bad for a 90 proof. That's what this is, a 90 proof. So on the back end is where you get that oak, that lingering taste of the oak and the sweetness. And it's still going on. So overall, for that price, for the MSRP 25 to 30, I think it's good. Now, would I spend more for this? Um, yeah, because let's just say I never had before and I just wanted to try it. Sometimes you gotta put down that price just to get things on your shelf to try. Um, but you know, going to 100, 150, I might want to pump the brakes just a little bit. But overall, it's a really good representation of a wheated bourbon. I really do like this. This is the kind of bourbon that I would sit down and, you know, you can read a book to because it's not overly complicated. And, you know, it's something that you can just sit back and chill with because it's an easy sipper. Or if you were watching a very intense, suspenseful movie that you got to focus and pay attention to and you just want to enjoy a nice sip, this is something that I could just sit back and chill out with. Now, this would typically be a really good mixture as well, but because it's hard to come by, this won't be mixed at my house. You'll have to, you know, let the wife know about that. No, this has to be sipped. Sorry, baby. No mixing with this. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. So it's a good sipper. But I tell you what, let's compare it with something and just let's just see how it goes. You'll see. Okay, I'm back and you see I have Maker's Mark. And some of you may be like, Keith, come on, man. Maker's Mark? You gonna put that up against Weller? Get out of here. But back in the day, I mean, these was on the shelf together before this became hard to find. They're around the same price range. Same mash bill, 70% corn, 16% wheat, 14%. This is winter red wheat, rather winter red barley, right? Yeah. So it's around the same price, same mash bill. This is aged, I believe, 4 years, maybe 6, somewhere around there. I'm gonna split it and just say 5 years. So let's just look at the color. As you can see, they're about the same. And the proof is the same, 90 proof, 90 proof. So let's just give Maker's Mark a nose and a taste and compare with the Weller. Now Makers have a sharper nose to it. It's more punchy. And I can tell you I like the Weller nose better. But it comes across kind of like chalky. But you get that brown sugar. You get like maybe some cherry. This is always very cherry forward. And you get vanilla here as well. And just like Makers, I'm rather Weller. It's not really, overly complicated, but it's a pretty good nose. For the price range is the same, around 27 bucks. Let's go in for the taste. That is good. Makers have more of a. I'm getting chocolate off this, like the chocolate um, strawberries. No, chocolate cherries. But I'm still getting that caramel and brown sugar. Yeah, it's going to come down to preference really, because when I say smooth, I'm not saying smooth as in weak. I'll just say this is a more mellow drink. Maker's Mark is a little bit more sharper with the influence. So I think it's really going to come down to, your taste. I would really put these at a tie. The only thing negative about this is that they're gouging the price. So that's why I'm judging it at, if you could just find both of these at the MSRP, well, this one at the MSRP as to what it is suggested for, which is around $25, $26, $27, the same as Maker's Mark. So if you can't find this, don't laugh about this one. This is pretty good. I don't have a preference. It just depends on what I'm feeling. This is very, not smooth, but mellow. This just has a little bit more punch to it, but the taste and the quality are pretty much neck and neck to me. That's to me. So let me know how you guys feel about this. Have you compared these two? Have you compared Wellers to anything? What do you think about the hype price? How much are you willing to pay for it? Is it worth the hype? Again, I'm giving this a thumbs up. Definitely a thumbs up. Thumbs up over here, but this is the show right here. This is what the show is about right here. So again, Tracy, thank you for this episode. I appreciate it. I'm going to nurse this because I won't finish this until I find me another one. That's no hint, nudge to you, but I'm just saying I'm going to nurse this one out until I get me another one. And if I get another one before this is gone, I will tell the wife she can mix it with anything she wants to. Because, I'm that kind of guy. That's right. See you next time on the Bourbon Shop. Wait. Might as well. That is not a bad bourbon. Or rather, yeah. I'm going to finish this one off. Talk amongst yourselves. See you next time on the Bourbon Shop.